Okay.
He may have to get feedback with him being that close to you that reverbs his sound.
Probably go up there. I'll probably go upstairs. I can give it. Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs.
Because this is
Okay.
Andrew?
Yes.
Did you send the meeting invite to Patrick?
Patrick, yes, I did.
Okay,
he didn't understand it first. When I sent it to him, he was perplexed. So I resent it to him with an explanation, and then we had to change it.
Yes.
Make sure that you're admitting everybody, or change the settings so they come off. That's what happens when you have two accounts to the city and they don't belong to the people that are doing the meetings tonight. So sorry, guys.
And maybe one of these days we'll get this figured out.
We will. I think we got it now.
Yeah.
Hey, Emily.
Yeah.
Patrick's telling me he doesn't know how to get in there with the meeting ID and the password. Can you send him a new link is what he's asking. So in that page that we had saw from Molly's login, can you just send that to him?
Is this the right time to ask for why we didn't end up meeting in City Hall?
Because the developer is not from the area and they're not traveling. They're still not here. I think I got the thing. I'll send back to him. It's really just Zoom thing, new numbers.
Is there anyone on here besides commissioners right now?
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live. All right.
So we're just waiting on that gentleman. We got Keith, Alex, Pat, Tyler's on, Emily's on. So we can start the meeting whenever Emily is ready and take care of everything else that we have. And when we get to the new business, he should be on. And if not, I'll just ping him again and we'll just get it up there so we don't take any more time up. There he is. Emily, whenever you're ready.
Yes.
Okay, this is Pat. We're going to call the meeting to order. Emily, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Benner,
Here.
Mr. Cullinan, I believe you're muted, Mr. Cullinan.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. First,
Here.
Mr. Hicks, absent. Mr. Zollers,
Here. Okay, approval of the minutes for April 2nd, April 23rd, and May 7th. Any changes, or I'll entertain a motion to approve those?
Mr. Cullinan, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second, somebody, please.
It's Mr. First, I second.
Thank you. Fantastic. Okay, the agenda, we've gone through roll call, approval of minutes, swearing in of speakers. I'm sorry, Patrick, I don't know your last name. Would you, since you will be speaking, do you swear that the testimony you give in front of the commission will be truthful? And if so, please answer, I do. Hello? We're seeing you only, Emily.
Patrick, are you there?
I'm here. Can you all not hear me?
No, now we
can.
can.
Now.
Okay.
Okay.
You swear that.
Sorry about that. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
Finished. Okay, very good. No public comment as far as I'm aware. Any unfinished business, anybody? Okay, then let's go into new business, if you would. Give us an overview of the applicant 2020-5224, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant, Cross Development, is requesting Planning Commission approval of a major site plan for the construction of a, can you mute?
Yeah, I'm trying to, okay.
Apologies. The applicant is requesting Planning Commission approval of a major site plan for a new auto body repair and collision shop for Caliber Collision. The property is currently within the community commercial zone, and the applicant will be requesting a variance for both the proposed use as well as side yard setback, parking location, So that will be happening on July 23rd before BZBA. We're getting some audio issues here, but I'm going to mute on my end here.
It may be wise to mute the one that's there inside of council chambers, because I'm sure it's picking up your guys' voices as well.
That better?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Again, any commissioners have any questions, comments, or other for the applicant?
Mr. Chairman, it's Keith Benner. I have a few questions for Patrick.
Go ahead, sir.
Patrick, you represent the developer. Is anyone here that from the actual company?
When you say company, are you referring to Caliber Collision?
Yes, yes.
No, sir. Just myself.
Okay. Just a few things that I noticed. I'm primarily looking at the landscape calculations on the landscape page, if anyone wants to follow. Under landscape
L1 dot one, I assume.
Correct. L1.13. Oh, 316. That one. There you go. Under these landscape calculations down at the bottom, it talks about frontage trees required, 1 for every 30 linear feet. It goes on to say there's 145 linear feet and then divides it by 35. That seems to be an error. If you divide it by 30, it comes out to 4.8, which in my estimation would be 5 trees. I could be wrong.
I would have to look into that. I'm showing 4. So you're saying, or we would need 5?
Well, 4.8 trees would seem to be 5 to me. It's not a huge deal, but the math is incorrect on the calculations. It comes out to 4 if you divide by 35, but the requirement is 1 for every 30 feet.
Okay. I'd have to, but it's probably an oversight on our part, and I apologize for that as I look at it here.
That's why we have these meetings.
Yeah, I don't see any concern of spacing. It seems to be adequate for us to have or add rather an additional tree.
Sure. The other thing I have, looking at that same, you can actually use the same drawing, the security fence, materials for that are chain link with privacy slats.
Correct.
That entire vehicle storage area to kind of the east, I guess, right next to the current building. That's a large area of vehicle storage. And talking with the development director, I was told that the vehicles would be kept inside the building and that finished vehicles would be stored outside. How many vehicles will fit inside this building?
Well, so it get a little feedback. It's a very fluid situation. So if they start on a specific vehicle and they're waiting on parts or something of that nature, a lot of times they'll kind of move those in and out. They're not going to store vehicles inside. So I'm sorry, there must have been some sort of miscommunication there.
Well,
but to answer your question,
go ahead.
I was going to say, to answer your question, if you look on the east side of the building, kind of the northeast side, you'll see what it shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bays there. Each one of those bays is designed to hold 4 vehicles. But per our client's requests, we have satisfied their need based on the size of the building and as it pertains to the floor plan.
And I appreciate that. And first, let me say, the front of the building, the landscaping out front, everything, from what I see, it looks very nice. And that's my concern. My concern is that a collision shop, there's going to be a lot of mangled metal sitting outside. And I, for one, am not 100% satisfied with slats and a chain link fence. I don't think it presents a real clean image. How much trouble would it be for that to be a solid vinyl fence or something along those lines?
Sorry, we're all adjusting to kind of working from home, especially in the evening.
No worries.
So my apologies for the 2 kids here. So there is an opacity to the fence, and I can give you some information on that maybe prior to the planning and zoning meeting, prepare a board on a couple other projects. This seems to be a pretty common or frequent question to come to light. So I can certainly appreciate your concern with that, but know that I think a lot of times we have a mom and pop junkyard in our mind with a kind of a rusted old chain link fence with some, aluminum slats on a diagonal. And I always picture like a white with some type of green diamond pattern is where my brain goes to. And so this is a much more tasteful material. It's almost like a mesh to cover. So from a little bit of a distance, it kind of lends itself to if it's not an oxymoron, it's kind of a tasteful chain link fence altogether.
I guess we'll agree to disagree. I don't find chain link fences tasteful in any way, shape, or form. I guess since you have no idea how many employees will be working here.
No, I do. We have, and I shared some information, kind of an overview of the organization as a whole. And so with that, there's the attorney calling. With that, I mean, we would attribute this particular site to have about mid to low 30s as far as the employee count goes.
Excellent. Thank you for that. I guess my last question, I think you're supposed to be submitting later, but signage out front, do we have a plan for that?
We have some renderings, and I will be happy to kind of share with everyone. And my apologies, I didn't realize that was in question here, else I would have shared them with you all, but happy to do so.
Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. First, Mr. Cullen, and anything from you guys?
And Mr. Boucher, maybe you could lend a little color to Mr. Benner's question about the fence. I mean, we're not, I don't want to say hostile towards chain link, but there is kind of a preference for other materials. in our plan. I understand certainly that, we want to have a welcoming business environment and things like that. But, I do somewhat agree with Mr. Benner that I would have liked to see the material. I'm not sure I want to necessarily hold this up just to see the fence, but
well, let me throw up some examples here, and let's see if we can't just talk through this. I'm going to switch my screen, so if everyone wants to just make sure that they can see mine big, and then we can just talk through this. Mr. Reynolds, are we talking about sort of something like this? We're talking about black steel with some slats. Now these are metal slats that have been angled. Now, if this is what we're talking about, and inside of that, instead of the metal, it's vinyl that's solid, and you can't tell the difference between. I mean, I think this looks attractive. It allows air to sort of move through. I think this could be a really attractive model gate if this is what we're talking about, or even something kind of like this, where it's across.
Well,
this is.
I am kind of looking through. I'm doing one of these in Murfreesboro right now, and I had to present to zoning a board, of the materials, and I do have that here, in electronic format. And I'm just kind of trying to look for it. So I feel like that way we could be, more definitive with that.
That'd be perfect. If you could email that to me, I'll throw it up.
Yeah, give me just one. Yeah, this job's a little further along. So as you can imagine, there are several emails with several attachments. So I appreciate your patience.
Well, while you're looking for that, is there any other questions? And that'll buy us some time and makes this efficient meeting. Ms. Cullen, do you have any?
No, I think Keith brought up some good points that I was interested in. So
okay, all right, Mr. First, you have anything aside from the fence? Anything else while he's looking for that?
No, other than the fence, I'm supportive.
Okay.
And as far as the sign is concerned, everyone, they'll be required to match the existing style that Best Buy has out at their monument sign, as well as the Big Sandy. We're still talking about the brick facade on the bottom. So those will all be well within line. Outside of the Caliber sign would be different.
Okay, good. I saw a black fence. Mr. Reynolds, was that the fence what was I looking at there, that black fence running parallel? Was that something that you should put up there, Patrick?
I think that was something.
I didn't put anything up.
Oh, I was going to say that's really nice.
Pat, that was mine. That was ones that I had showed.
Oh, okay. Well, we like it.
Sorry, I have my email opened up here, so I can't really see anything that y'all are working on right now. Kind of.
That's okay. Maybe can we do this? Like we've done in the past, Andrew, maybe we could get conditional with approval of the fence, other options, or another option other than chain link. We'd be agreeable to that. And then when you get that, Mr. Reynolds to Mr. Bowser, send it out and we can have a vote on the fence type thing. Would you guys commissioners be fine with something like that? Andrew, would that work for you?
Yeah, whatever commission decides, I feel like that is fine. If we want to pass this conditionally with understanding that I'll share with you all what the final verdict is, and we'll try to work with Mr. Reynolds on making it as aesthetically pleasing as possible so it doesn't look like a backyard chain link fence with vinyl slats that are going between it.
I can assure you that Caliber has very high standards, and so because of that, they're going to require something tasteful in nature for their personal branding.
Okay, well, that sounds like we can get further down the road already. All right, anyone care to, is there any other questions, or Mr. Reynolds, you have anything else you want to address other than the fence?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Is it necessary that we pass this with a condition if they still have to go to the zoning board later on? Can we not wait until we actually see the materials the sign and be able to approve it from actually looking at it?
What would be benefiting from that?
Knowing what we're voting for?
Well, it's conditional based on the fence. And then I'm sure we can approve the fence.
So the sign will come back. That's a separate
right
thing. The sign is already coming back to you. But that's after they start the building process.
Patrick, are you having any luck coming up with the picture or something of what this fence is going to look like?
Yeah, and now I'm thinking maybe it was Dublin. So I've gone on to Dublin, and now I'm in a folder for Columbus. I got a job at Bolton Field and Hall that my architect asked him to kind of
Ms. Banner, you have a hesitation approving everything except for anything other than the fence?
Mr. Chairman, my only concern is what happens when the fence material comes back to us and we don't like it.
Well, then what we've done historically is get Mr. Bowser send something out and we vote yes, it works, no, it doesn't. If it doesn't, then they have to come back until we get something that approves. So it's conditional on fencing at this point.
As long as we follow up like that, I have no issues with that.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
it looks like the building from the facade from the front is a very nice looking building. And I'm not questioning anybody's, what kind of thing they're trying to put together, but the material says chain link fence, and I find that offensive. I just think that's
well. Then what? Well, how about Mr. Benner? You make the motion conditional on approving the fence, and then we can be sure to follow through on that one.
Hang on one second before we do this real quick. Patrick, hey, can everyone see my screen? Now, this is a Caliber Collision. It looks like a very, very similar model to what we just did. Now, you see the fence that's right there? I feel like this fence is very similar to what I had just showed, except it's not horizontal slats, it's vertical slats. Now, is that something similar that we're talking about, Patrick?
And candidly, I believe that is a chain link fence. You're looking at the gate, and the gate's opened, and it's behind the mesh.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's there, right?
But to your point, I'm sorry, Keith. I know you're, and I appreciate that. But I think what I would ask is that you give me. I could have this to y'all tomorrow. I could circulate, and my goal would be to kind of try to have this wrapped up before the P&Z meeting on the 23rd. And so with that, I don't know timing and how your process works, but my goal was to try to have everything kind of approved and pushing forward, so we would go into the P&Z meeting without any question.
Right.
If anybody's got any objections, maybe I can make a suggestion. Knowing that we have to come back for the signage, if you could have the signage and stuff to us here in the next few weeks, not that it's going to delay anything that you need to do, because these are minor things. If we were to approve under the condition that they have to come back for the fence and the sign, say at our August meeting, he goes to BZBA, he does what he needs to do there for some variances, and then he comes back and he takes care of the signage and the fence at the same time. Therefore, this isn't a wasted meeting, and we get to see, and it gives him enough time to give us the prepared materials so you can make an accurate decision.
I like it. Let's do it.
I'm supportive.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we would approve this site plan with 2 conditions. One being the Planning Commission's approval of the fence material to be presented to us at a later date, and 2, that the sign meets our normal zoning requirements and is also acceptable to the commission.
Nice motion, Mr. Bennett. Thank you. Anyone care to second that?
Mr. First, I'll second.
Excellent. We have a first and a second. Staff, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Benner?
Yes.
Mr. Cullinan?
Yes.
Mr. First?
Yes.
Mr. Zollers.
Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Patrick. As you can, I'm sure Mr. Boucher will circulate anything that comes to him prior to our next get together on those two items, spatial defense.
I just want to reiterate, thank you all very much for your time this evening, and my apologies with the kind of technical difficulties and the delay associated with that. So,
never apologize for your kids, Patrick.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Oh, no
worries.
There.
Okay.
Hey, thanks very much, Patrick.
Yeah, my pleasure. You all have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, I see no other business. Any reason not to adjourn this meeting? Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Have good information, good input. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good one.